to Winning Isn't Easy, the Social Security Disability Benefit version. This is a podcast where we break down everything you need to know about navigating the Social Security disability system. I'm your host, Nancy Cavey, and today I'm joined by my associate, Krysti Monaco. Now, before we get started, we've got to give you a legal disclaimer. This podcast is not legal advice. The Florida Bar Association says I've got to say this. So now I've said it, nothing will ever prevent me from giving you an easy to understand overview of the Social Security disability claims process, the games that are played, and what you need to know to get the Social Security disability benefits you deserve. So off we go. Now, in last week's episode, we talked about what it costs to file a Social Security disability claim and what you might get if you win. Today, we're going to be focusing on how to fill out Form SSA 16. That's the application for disability insurance benefits. I will tell you that this form is really crucial in getting your Social Security disability benefits, and completing it correctly can significantly impact your chances of approval. We're going to talk today about four things. The first is the basic information about the initial application that you need to know. Second, we're going to explore the pages of the initial application and how to answer questions. And we're going to talk about reviewing that initial application and then ultimately submitting it. Lastly, we're going to talk about what are the crucial mistakes that you can make when filling out this application for disability insurance. Got it? We're going to take a quick break before we jump into this week's episode. Welcome back to Winning Isn't Easy. You ready to get started? Let's first talk about the basic information about the initial application. To start, this application for disability insurance benefits is known as SSA 16. Now, it's designed to gather information about your medical condition, your work history, and how your disability affects your daily life. But before you dive in, you've got to gather the necessary documents, including tax records, medical records, employment history, and any documentation that's related to your disability. That is going to make this application process sooner. Now, I'm often asked, as is Krysti, where do you suggest we start on this form? Well, you're going to have, I think, all your relevant documents before you begin this form. And I think that you should give yourself at least 30 minutes to make sure you complete this form accurately and completely. Now, to begin with, this first page is pretty simple. It's basic demographics. Your name, the date of birth, language you speak and write, the country or state of birth, your Social Security number, and importantly, your date of disability. Krysti, let's talk about the date of disability and why it's so important.
Sure. Nancy, the date of disability is the day that your condition became severe enough to keep you from working. If you're working part-time, then it's the first day that your disability kept you from making over what's called substantial gainful activity. By adding that date to the application, that becomes what Social Security then calls your alleged onset date. Nancy, what do we tell people if someone's unsure of their date of disability?
Well, often it can be unclear what the date of disability might be, particularly if you have attempted a return to work. Now, if you're unsure and you've been working, we suggest that you look at your pay stubs to see where your wages fell below that SGA number. Remember that SGA number changes every year. The next thing you need to look at is look at your medical records to determine where and when your symptoms became severe enough to prevent you from working. Now, if you've had an accident, we actually know what that date is, right? So if you were in a motor vehicle accident or a workers' comp accident, we know that that's the specific date that you're going to be claiming as your date of disability if you were unable to work as of that date. But if you have a progressive disease like MS or PD, it can be hard to pinpoint that right date to claim that you're disabled. If this seems too much, please call us and we will help you with this application process, including help you determine the date of the onset. Now, Krysti, I've used some language called substantial gainful activity, as you did. What on earth does that mean?
Sure. So, substantial gainful activity, or SGA as you'll hear us call it, is a monetary amount that Social Security believes that if an individual can make over, then they're not disabled. As Nancy discussed, that number goes up every year with the cost of living increases. This year, 2024, it is 1,550, but you're going to want to check Social Security's website in 2025 to see how much it's increased.
Got it. Well, let's take a break and we're going to come back and continue our discussion about the application and what you need to know about submitting a winning application.